So, hi Sarah, how are you?
Morning, Beth. Good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Look, listen, thank you so much for your time. I really want to just pick up on the article that you wrote for us about Brexit.
Oh, yes.
Because I reckon I detected a little bit of British angst, which I thought we'd explore together. I've decided to call this podcast 10 things that are not going to be the same again because of Brexit. 10 things that are not going to be the same again because of Brexit. So I'm really delighted you could join me. For our listeners, Sarah is head of eLearn, our training department, and I manage eStory, which is our communications arm, and obviously Executive English is our business. So Sarah, you kind of voiced some concerns in your article. Tell me, what are you worried about the most at the moment about Brexit?
I must admit, I'm sort of less worried now than I was, and now that I have my German citizenship.
Show off.
After the vote, I was really quite anxious, and it wasn't just, can I order from Marks and Spencer's and John Lewis? Will I be able to bring back cheddar and bacon in the suitcase? It was bigger things, for the young people, really. And you saw this a lot in the news about families being divided, and that the young people wouldn't have the chance that you and I are living right now, and being able to move to a country without thinking about it, to live and work. And I felt really sad for the future young people of the UK, really, and Europe, not being able to go the other direction. But there are perhaps more personal thoughts about that. There are also practical things, as we are now all living, that have changed and will continue to change for Brexit. We have our top 10 list of things.
Yeah.
Let's look at number 1, and no more MEPs.
Yeah. What does MEP stand for?
Minister of European Parliament, right?
No, it's actually member.
Yeah, I haven't been able to vote for one for some time. So.
Well said. Yeah, that's right. 73 UK members of the European Parliament have lost their seats.
Yeah. And jobs, right? And their jobs.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So we talk about, in parliaments, we talk about having a seat, don't we? Which is when you actually occupy a position within Parliament. And one of those seats used to be occupied by Nigel Farage.
The lovely Nigel Farage, yeah. And next door to him, Anne Widdecombe, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's not much upset in the European Parliament that they're not there anymore.
No, very well said. Yeah, to not have much upset. Indeed.
Yeah, exactly. But, there were long-standing, very experienced politicians who'd worked there for years. Richard Corbett, the Labour MEP, very staunch Remainer.
Yeah.
Who have lost their job.
Yeah.
They've done okay. I've read that they have got their redundancy money, that they will get a month.
Oh, yeah. How much did they get?
Similar to the laws of the land here in Germany, 1 month salary for each year of service. So they're okay. But I feel quite sorry for.
Yeah. That's a nice idiom that you just chose, by the way, the law of the land, which is the laws associated with one particular nation, sovereign nation. That's right. So Nigel Farage, what's he doing at the moment? I know when he stepped down as MEP, he headed up his party, and then he stepped down from that as well. And I believe he's an influencer at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I popped on, just in prep for this podcast, I looked at his Twitter account. Mm-hmm. It is unbelievable, the kind of information that he's posting there. Like literally taking photos of people coming in on boats, hurling abuse. There's a nice idiom, to hurl abuse, which means to be aggressive towards the French for letting these boats come across the channel. It really is real extreme stuff. It's quite depressing. So let's move on. So MEPs are no more. What about European summits? I guess we're not participating in those, right?
No more. I think if there's an area that is important to include the UK, I assume they can have a special invite.
Okay.
Boris or whoever the key advisors are in the cabinet or ministers in the cabinet could then attend, but invite only. This is at the discretion, I assume, of the EU.
Oh, that's a great word, the discretion of.
Yeah.
So they get to decide whether or not the UK gets invited.
It's definitely not a sure thing.
Yeah. Wow. Even if it's like on a subject like fisheries or something like that.
Maybe now, because it's still a hot topic, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I don't think everything's resolved. All the stories of rotting fish. This was in my blog, you know, and these poor fishermen around the UK who haven't been able to export anything.
Yeah.
It just takes too long.
Yeah.
You know, they're fresh goods, and it takes too long to get to
Yeah.
those expensive restaurants in Paris. But the G7 summit is coming. That's in the UK.
Oh, tell me about that.
That's in June, mid-June, I think, 11th to the 13th. So that's in Cornwall.
Oh, so all of those lucky Europeans will get to partake of, which means to enjoy or eat, a Cornish pasty.
Absolutely. Delicious. Do you know how to make a Cornish pasty?
Oh, do you know, I was going to ask you that question. Can you tell me, do you?
Well, I've never made one that I can remember. I've eaten a lot.
Yes, me too. I love Cornish pasties.
Yeah, in Padstow, which is just into Cornwall.
Did you ever go to Rick Stein's restaurant in Padstow?
Yes, I love fish and chips on the harbour. This is lovely. So I gather it's a good, you know, crusty pastry, and then meat, potato, and swede or turnip. Inside with a little gravy. You can add, you know, now you can get curried pasties, all sorts of things. But the idea was that it's lunch securely fastened in a pastry pocket, if you like, or pastry bag. But for workers, that's where it comes from. But no, delicious. And
I just had to look up turnip in German because I thought it was relevant.
Hard one.
Steckrübe.
Yeah, and when I say Swede, my husband still is like, what's that?
Oh no, I would say Swede.
Yeah.
I would say Swede. What is the difference from the etymology of the word? Why are we using Swedes, you and I, and not turnip?
I don't know.
Is this a scone thing or?
No, I don't think so. But I don't.
Are they different? They're different vegetables, are they?
I think turnip is an all-encompassing term for different types of turnips.
Okay.
But we'd have to look it up.
I was just looking at it now. Apparently it gets quite a lot of Google hits. What's the difference between a Swede and a turnip? We are not alone, Sarah.
I think I did that around Burns night because we had haggis, tatties and neeps.
Ooh, and a tatty is a?
Potato, cut off.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. And neeps is from turnip. Neeps, it's Swede, mashed with butter.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the update for you here. Hot off the press. We are both wrong, Sarah. Swede and turnips do come from the same family. Yeah. A Swede is a Swedish turnip.
Well, would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would indeed, but they are not the turnip is not the what do you say, the umbrella term for it.
Okay, it's not.
They are both types. One is a Swedish turnip, and then there's a normal turnip. Yeah.
There you go. You learn something new
every day. Well done. That's a really nice expression. You learn something new every day.
Yes.
Sarah, number 3, lots of changes with trade. We could go into so many details about that. For time reasons, you know, what's going on with this AstraZeneca situation at the moment with Europe? Because that is just blowing up at the moment in Europe's face.
Absolutely. Yeah. On Monday,
tell me what the latest is.
Yeah, on Monday I was worried that Europe, they talked about, we will issue an export ban, and suddenly, you know, you're like, oh my God, tensions, relationship at an all-time low.
Yeah.
You know, could be really serious. But they discussed yesterday at a virtual summit.
Great.
European leaders, and they've said that they don't want to do that at the moment. It's too big a step. And they believe in, what was the term they used? The global value chains of the world, including vaccines, and that they shouldn't disrupt that with banning things now.
Yeah.
They've expanded the rules so that they could
Okay,
quite
interesting.
seriously if they wanted to, but have said now, no, AstraZeneca need to, of course, deliver against their promises.
Yeah, well said.
And for Europe and the rest of the world, apparently they've delivered 77 million doses to 33 other countries across the world. So, you know, the commitment to not just supplying Europe, Germany, and so on is working.
Yeah.
So
on the side of AstraZeneca, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think the
problem is, of course,
doses are all vaccines. A part of that is AstraZeneca.
Okay. Because the major problem, of course, is just like if you compare it within the UK and AstraZeneca kind of operations here, like the majority is still going to the UK. Their European representations are exporting across Europe. So we've got the situation at the moment. I think yesterday in the UK, 820,000 people received the vaccination. That's a phenomenal number. And that's obviously the pot or the supply that we've got within the UK itself from AstraZeneca. But last month, for example, something like 43 million vaccinations were disputed, of which 10.3 million went to the UK. So we're getting the UK, in addition to all of this, you know, supply within the UK, we're getting a quarter, you know, of all of the European availability as well. You can really see how unjust that must seem.
It must seem, yeah, but they also ordered and organised. This is the one thing, we come on to Mr. Cummings soon, that was organised very well in the UK, that they were 3 months earlier ordering the vaccines.
Yeah, they were.
In the UK. So
can I just say one thing? Because I have to say one thing, because I want this out there in the on the World Wide Web.
Say it.
Yeah, we did not get that because of Brexit. Any country within Europe could have agreed to do it, as it was because of solidarity, which is that European term, one of the major principles of European cooperation. Because of solidarity, they stuck together and decided to test it out and roll it out together across Europe. But any country could have gone the route that the UK went, and they could have decided to do it nationally as well. And I just hate this rhetoric that is the UK, that bigoted UK approach. You know, if you're a bigot, how would you describe a bigot? A bigot is somebody.
Nigel Farage.
Yeah, Nigel Farage, exactly. A bigot. There we go. It's this bigoted opinion that because we've left Europe, we're getting all these vaccinations. It's like, no, that's wrong. But anyway, here's another good expression in English. I shall get down off my, do we say our soapbox?
Yeah, high horse.
Off my high horse, exactly. And we shall move on. But yeah, number 3, quite right. Lots of changes to trade.
Yeah.
We almost can't get into that, but you know, there's going to be tensions like the AstraZeneca one that come up all the time. Tell me, Sarah, what's happening with our passport colours?
Yes, well, I think as of the middle of last year, June 2020, you could then, or if you applied for a passport, it would be the new navy blue.
As soon as that, so already.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was last year, 2020. But I organised my kids' ones shortly before that, so they have the. Yeah, we can't see it because of the background. They have the burgundy one, as do I. I have an old navy blue one from, I don't know, I think it's 30 years that we've had the burgundy one, right?
Oh, really? Oh gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, and so I had a navy blue one before when I was young, but can't find it. It's buried.
Yeah. And why? Why have they changed the colour? What's that about?
Sovereignty, I think. And, you know, the feeling of not being part of the EU means we should have a different passport.
I mean, I'll be really honest. I've got 2 German children and a Portuguese husband, all of which have burgundy passports.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite happy with my blue one because it will be easier to find in the future.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, I have. Yeah, my kids both have British and German passports, and I now also have both. I also have my German driving license and my German ID card. There it is. Look, very good.
Yeah,
so as I said, yeah, this has sort of reduced worry for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so passports back to blue.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you think about the changing of the passport colours? Yay, nay?
I can understand why the UK have done it. I mean, I don't agree with the whole thing. So
I don't either. For me, it's such a nay. It's a big fat nay. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to paint mine a luminous pink.
Yeah.
In defiance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Luminous. That's a good word.
Yeah. Sarah, you explained this to me a while ago. I thought this is brilliant. Number 5 I've put in the Brexit coins.
I know.
Tell me about these.
Collector's items now, apparently. Again, they came out last year. And amusingly had to be I think they
melted down.
Yeah, that's right. They prepared them for the 31st of October. Of course, that got delayed. So they melted them down, ready for the 31st of January. And then they were, released on the market. I'm sure that's not the right phrase for coins.
Yeah, what do we circulate? We circulate currency.
Yeah, circulate the currency. And they made, what was it, 3 million or something initially. And they went very quickly out of circulation because people kept them. So the collectors, entrepreneurs, they kept them. They weren't going to use them to buy as currency. So they had to make more. 5 million additionally. In the end, 10 million pieces in total. So there you go.
I was just fishing out of my drawer. Look, I've got 850 years of Munich, 2008. This is also a coin that a minute. Can I not?
Maybe put it in front of your. Oh yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, that's a celebratory. It says 200 years of Oktoberfest. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, I kept this again. Obviously, that has a value, but for me, it's just a keepsake, as we say.
Lovely. Yeah, my Schwiegerfather, Schwiegerpapa.
Yeah, your father-in-law. Very good.
Yeah, he collected coins, so we actually have quite a few. We're waiting for the Sendung mit der Maus 50th Geburtstag, 50th birthday coin. This should be coming.
Okay. Oh, very nice. Hey, what do you call somebody that collects coins?
Oh.
Do you know what I was going to say? A philatelist, but that's somebody that collects butterflies. Oh no, stamps.
No, philatelist is stamps, right?
Collect coins. Name. Wait a minute. Google tells me numismatics is the study or collection of currency, including coins. He's a numismatician. There we go.
I had another word in mind, I must say, for collecting coins, but there we go.
Put it in. You got to do coin collector. Yeah, numismatics. Everybody keeps coming up.
Very good. But have you seen
a numismatist?
A numismatist.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Well, let's move on because point number 6 is another significant change, but it's obvious the UK's Brexit department shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. Gone from.
I only say it's gone. I mean, obviously I'm depressed about the whole thing, but it does mean that Cummings has gone with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he was asked by Boris Johnson. So Brexit was done the end of January last year. After that, Boris Johnson asked him to be a special advisor to support in getting it done, that year of transition we've had.
Apparently he rang up Cummings. This is Dominic Cummings, and he rang him up and said, "Can you help me sort out this Brexit?"
Yeah, that's interesting.
So then he ran it. So then he ran that Brexit department. And but what happened to Cummings in the end?
Well, then of course Corona hit, and obviously all our minds are split between Corona number 1 and then Brexit has kind of gone down the news. Thank goodness for Boris Johnson on that one. So he then was also in charge of creating the task force for Corona.
Of course.
Cummings, and was caught travelling when he shouldn't. So there was a series of things that then happened that led to his demise.
Yes, nicely said, because he was caught, just to expand on what you said, he was caught travelling to visit his mother-in-law, to hand over their child because he claimed he couldn't work in the same with his child. It was like, hello,
like the rest of us.
Live like the rest of us, mate. We've all got kids and husbands and jobs and mess and responsibilities. So he got caught breaking the restrictions, didn't he, traveling to his mother-in-law. And then from that moment onwards, he fell out of favor with Boris.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. Number 7, Sarah, I have to say, number 7, I've experienced already. Number 7 is that we are queuing in different queues in the airport because I'm spending Easter with my family. So actually, if I were to take off my video camera at the moment, I'd be able to show you a view out of my window in which there's nothing other than rain, fog and mist outside.
Welcome to the UK, eh?
Yes, indeed. But of course, I had to queue differently. So I no longer go into a European passport section. I'm in a different queue with my currently still burgundy passport, which I guess when it gets reissued is going to be blue. And my family with their German passports or Portuguese all disappear into another queue, which I should say is physically for me devastating, because to actually go and wait in another queue that says non-EU is just so unbelievably painful, I can tell you. The only benefit is if you have a family, it's a lot quieter in that queue because they're all in the other queue.
And you're not having to control them. I mean, this makes me think, when I go to the UK, will I travel with my German passport? Because then all 4 of us, my husband and the kids, can queue together. Or do I go with our British passports, which means my husband is on his own?
Or do you take both and just hedge your bets?
You have to be careful with this. I was warned not to do that when I got my German passport, that you need to decide and take one. And
why? Why would that be?
I don't know, maybe if something happens and there's an issue with repatriation, where do you go? I don't know, should the worst happen.
Really interesting.
But that when they gave me my citizenship, they said you must decide before you leave what passport you travel with.
That's really interesting, Sarah.
But you're doing this process, aren't you, Beth? So they might say the same to you.
Yes, they might indeed. We will see. By the way, I use the expression to hedge your bets. And this basically means, to kind of like prepare for 2 eventualities, and then at the last minute choose one based on the best possible outcome, I guess is a definition.
Must come from gambling, mustn't it?
It must indeed, yes. Number 8, I mean, Erasmus. That's something that's never going to be the same again.
I must admit, I don't know so much about Erasmus, but it's all around education, right? Across Europe.
So I'll give you a quick whistle-stop tour on this, because this is a subject close to my heart, because I also did do Erasmus, because I studied at Hanover University and did a part of an Erasmus program in another university as well. Erasmus is effectively the free flow of students between, at the moment, European countries. So it's a European scheme. And for example, I think it's something like in 2017 alone, nearly 17,000 UK students went to universities within Europe. And that's really massive. And in terms of our scope and the influence, the cultural and the academic, the opportunity to do that and go to another university is just invaluable. Something that's really important to say is that Erasmus scheme, it subsidized all of those experiences. So you get, not only do you get a grant, which is like 500 euros a semester or something, but you get your travel sometimes subsidized. And in specific, where they're really good, is helping special needs or learning difficulties or people from impoverished backgrounds. So Erasmus has always been a program very close to my heart. Another thing that's interesting is that 32,000 nationals within Europe came to the UK. And if you think what we're trying to do, if you look at the point system the UK has introduced, we are looking for highly qualified people, with their STEM backgrounds. And now we're saying, hey guys, Don't come to our country and experience, an academic thing. Go somewhere else. This is such a closed island mentality. And just to put
that's exactly what I was thinking, that island mentality. It was the reason I left the UK in the first place back in 1999.
Yes.
And now it's just I feel that it's going to get worse. We know foreign languages in schools are down to the lowest they've ever been learning. And you're like, no, come on.
Something I really want to champion with my links here with the Goethe Institute is I really want to be a speaker. I'd love to go to the UK and speak to schools about doing German as a modern language. It's just, well, anyway, but we won't go there. Listen, one thing you should know about Erasmus is, because I'm sure I can see Boris Johnson going, it's not quite true what you say, you're presenting a very negative perspective. So let's represent the very more positive UK perspective on Erasmus, which is they have replaced it with the Turing program, named after Alan Turing.
Okay.
So apparently the UK is toiting or speaking about or claiming the fact that it's got this wonderful equivalent. The problem is, if the Turing program has at the moment they are optimistic that other universities are going to subsidize the UK students. It's like, what? And what about all of the other 32,000 that want to come into the UK? We're saying we're not subsidizing any of that. There is no program for people coming into the UK, students coming into the UK. So it's just, it's quite hypocritical. I should say, I believe I've been told, because I've got some connections in politics in Bavaria, I've been told Erasmus still is going until June of this year. And then the Turing program will come over. So
the Turing program is only UK to Europe.
It's only UK, exactly. And it's kind of very much...
The rest of Europe will continue with Erasmus, right? So if our kids want to study in Portugal or Greece, then they could. Right.
Well, they could, but we don't have, as the UK, we don't have access to Erasmus anymore.
As a UK citizen, but if they're using their German...
Oh, got you, yes.
Then they could, right?
Very nice.
Well, it gets complicated, doesn't it?
It does indeed. But Erasmus, that's really a sad, for me, that this is a super, super depressing development, point number 8.
Yeah, and then when you think of all those science students, and these British research institutions who can get to them as undergraduates, and then look to graduate research programs, which brings us on to number 9.
Very good point, Sarah.
Where we're talking about the change in science funding.
So this is a good one, because initially I thought that the UK had lost its access to European science funding, which is like the Horizon 2020 program. So this is all of the main research that is being funded within Europe. And actually, it's not the case. So number 9 is not that we're losing access to European funding. For me, number 9 is that we're losing access to one of the most exciting elements of this program, which is called the European Innovation Council Accelerator. And this is a large equity fund that Europe offers that invests specifically in tech startups. And we all know I love my tech startup. So this is on my radar, which is another nice expression in English. If you have something on your radar, it means that you are aware of it because it's a subject that interests you or is relevant for you. So very cleverly, Europe has said, you know what, you can keep getting, the science funding. And I should say up to 70% of that funding does go to the UK. Its research programs, I should say, they are cutting edge. And through its collaboration with other universities, it tends to attract a lot of funding. So that will stay, but it will miss out on this tech accelerator funding as part of that. The reason being is that it's generally felt that the UK startup initiative is so powerful. It's certainly considered to be, I read the other day, by the way, on the M4 corridor between Bristol and London, and that's the road, obviously the motorway that links the two, there are more startup companies than in Silicon Valley.
Really?
So it is. I mean, we're not by size and not by penetration in terms of their potential. Like this could be a one-man show, and Google counts as one in Silicon Valley, and Microsoft as two. It's a bit, but on paper, yes. And so I think this is an area of our funding that Europe quite rightly wants to deprive us of, and to deprive somebody means to take something away. So yeah, that's going to definitely also be a change. Point number 10. Oh, Sarah, I'm reading it now. Tell me about point number 10.
Yeah, is this our last one? My gosh, that's
it is.
Yeah. So this is all about, we had about the extradition of citizens to the UK, and now that Brexit has happened, UK no longer a member, Germany won't extradite.
Okay.
The UK. So
what does that mean? What does extradite mean? Can you explain?
So, I guess it's sending someone back. So if a German does a crime in the UK, and ends up back in Germany or in Europe, in Germany, I think, then the German will not have to go back to the UK for a criminal trial, for example. They won't do that. There was the agreement there still is the agreement within the EU that you can extradite, return to the land of the crime, I suppose, citizens within the countries of the EU, should they commit a crime.
Okay.
But now,
so this is a bit like, if we reverse the clocks, this is a bit like Julian Assange and the WikiLeaks crisis. Julian runs across back to Germany. Let's imagine he's not Swiss, but Swedish, but German. And he's there, and it doesn't matter where he is in Germany. He doesn't even need to be in an embassy for safe haven. He could just sit at home in his nice, luxury villa somewhere in the mountains of Bavaria, and nobody can get him back to the UK for trial.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure what it means if he's in another country in Europe. So if he was to be in France, for example, I don't know if they could send him back. Probably not.
No, I bet you they could. I bet you they would need to, because he's not a French national.
Not a French national. Yeah.
I bet you it's that.
But and other countries are looking at it too. Slovenia and Austria, I think, are going to do the same.
Okay.
But Germany definitely. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, Sarah, when you first wrote your article, I read all of this angst in what you were saying. We tend to, quite often, I should say, in English, we talk about the German angst, but angst is a word that we use. So it's quite nice for us to have a little bit of British angst to balance it all out. We said that there are 10 things that are going to change a lot because of Brexit. The first one is the MEPs are losing their seats and have lost them. The second one is there's going to be no more EU summits. The third one is there are many, many changes to trade, including the potential for a lot more disputes, which the AstraZeneca situation has obviously brought to the fore. Number 4, our passports have changed colour. The new issue ones are blue. There are Brexit coins to celebrate our separation from Europe. And I should say, rather disgustingly, the inscription, what's written on them, so an inscription is what's written on the coin, is peace, prosperity, and friendship with all nations. Isn't that hypocritical? Peace, prosperity, and friendship with all nations, and we've left Europe. Blimey. Sorry. Anyway, we shall move on. You look speechless, Sarah.
Yeah, I am speechless.
Number 6 is obviously the Brexit department has been shut down within the UK government. Number 7 is that we're going to be queuing differently in airports. Number 8 is Erasmus has been hit. It's been cut between the UK. The Touring Initiative will replace it, but it's not as good, guys. Number 9 is, while we do get European funding, we're missing out specifically on the stuff for tech startups, which I think is a great shame. And finally, last but not least, if a German commits a crime within the UK, I should say within the UK, obviously Northern Ireland is different, then they won't extradite its citizens back if they should flee to their national country. So 10 things that are never going to be the same again, Sarah.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your input. It's been lovely talking to you.
You have a great day.